Talk to me. WSRadio.com.
The San Diego Council on Literacy brings you Literacy for All with your host, Jose Cruz.
I'm Jose Cruz from the San Diego Council on Literacy, and you're listening to Literacy for All Radio, powered by WS Radio. This is the worldwide leader in Internet talk. We're here today continuing our conversation with Tara Graviss from the Arts for Learning in San Diego. And there's so much on this topic that we have to learn and a whole lot that she has to share. We have a few minutes to do that. And just maybe going back to the topic of, okay, being a cynic. Golly, you hear from folks, it's kind of like, I had to take these tough classes and do this other stuff. What's this art stuff? How's that making, is that an out for our students? But Tara, as you said to me during the break, you had arts every year when you were in school. What's different?
Well, what's different now is that the funds aren't there, so the kids aren't getting it. Why do you want to have arts in school? Well, first of all, it increases self-confidence. We want all our kids feeling confident. It promotes critical thinking skills. It gets them going. And in the toughest case, so you asked me if it was an out. It's not an out. It's a necessary. It's part of fundamentally giving them the skill set to be a productive adult, a productive human being. But on the far end of it would be, it's using a lasso or an incentive to get those kids that might be dropouts.
Right.
Like if you look at the statistics, the days that we have dance class or music class or theater class, those are the days nobody misses school. Right?
Yes.
So we need them graduating because we don't want to be responsible for them if they don't graduate,
yes.
right? We want to make sure they're out there being productive members of our community. The other thing is the arts brings in so much more. Here in San Diego, we're a very large military community. We have entire programs that are dedicated to military children. We go out to Lincoln Military Housing. We work with those kids. Those are kids that you might say have other challenges. Mm-hmm. Deployment. In some cases, they're facing death of family members, things like that. We give them a way to bond again with their parents when they return. This is a program we've been doing for 15 years now. It's a big deal. I was a military child. Mm-hmm. So for me, having the arts every year was the one thread of connection at the 8 different schools I attended.
Excellent. And I have to remind myself that what got me to school in my last year was being in journalism class, mm-hmm. writing, working on the school paper. It was an art. It was something that wasn't English or history or some of the other things that maybe math that some folks might or might not like, but certainly that journalism class was exciting to me. I wanted to be there, and it got me to school. Very good. I mean, what are some of the programs that I have to ask this question because maybe we've been talking about the arts. What are the things that young people get to do in your program? It's painting, it's dancing. What's happening?
So we do music, which could be instrumental music. It could be song. It could be choir. It could be songwriting, right? Mm-hmm. We do theater, which could be production, talking about a story. In a 4th grade class I attended last year, they were taking a book they were reading that was actually quite heavy, mm-hmm. And then they were doing drama presentations or tableaus representing the story with 4th graders. And this was a way for the kids to cement their learning. Does that make sense?
Yes.
So then we have visual arts. That could be any form of visual arts. So as you mentioned, painting, drawing, any mm-hmm. of those things. And you might be learning about depth, perception, dimension, shading, which is the art skills.
Right.
You might be learning about, hey, you just read a story on XYZ. Now draw me a picture of what you read.
Very good.
Then we know you're actually getting
mm-hmm.
it. You're actually comprehending, right? And then dance, as I already mentioned. Dance could be anything from, hip-hop's quite popular with the kids.
Yeah.
But we also have classical ballet. We have anything along those lines. We have storytelling. And then our roster of performance artists is wide as you could imagine.
Right.
So we have anything from jazz to bluegrass to Blue Man Group type stuff.
I love Blue Man Group.
African drumming
yeah.
to classical Indian dance,
mm-hmm.
you name it, we have it.
You just touched on something because there are traditionally 4 levels of comprehension. there's literal, I think the other is inferential, there's critical, and then the last one is creative comprehension. And we talk about the best way to show that a person has learned is for them to teach you what you taught them.
Exactly.
And so that's part of what you're doing in this. So quite contrary to odds, they're just having a lot of fun painting and dancing. This is a confirmation about what they're learning and applying what they're learning to a creative outlet.
Mm-hmm, exactly. There's a huge value in learning art for art's sake. And yes, you asked me if, are they going to become better painters or artists? Some people might. Mm-hmm. That's not necessarily the goal. I mean, not everyone's going to. It's just like not all our children are going to be professional athletes or rock stars, which they often like to think they will. They're not all going to be artists, but it is going to be part of their lives. They're also going to be future appreciators of the art and patrons of the arts, right? But the other side of that is while our budgets in our schools are being crunched, this is a way to be more impactful with the actual rigor of reading, writing, and arithmetic that we need them to learn. Very nice.
Very nice. What are some of the other programs that you're doing out there? You mentioned the military program, which we know, we just assume with military populations that there's a need for more support.
Yeah, always a need for more support. It's a third of our population.
Do you have fairs where you show maybe performances or art fairs or such?
We have a partnership with the Kroc Center where once a month, the last Thursday of the month, we have a free event. Anyone can attend. It's literacy-based, and so every family gets a copy of a book. There's a performance based upon the book and then a hands-on activity. We replicate that in many of the libraries around San Diego County. You can catch us. All of our events are posted on Facebook and on our website, and they're open to the public, and they're free. So
and what's your website address?
It's www.artsforlearningsd.org.
Very good, very good. What are we have just a couple of minutes, but just things that you'd like to talk about before we get off air?
I think one of the things I'd like to mention is, there's a lot of change going on in our government, in our school systems. Our schools every year are a little bit, not quite sure if they're going to have enough money to fund things. So the support of our local communities, whether that's individual support or corporate support, is really important to reaching these children. We have many arts education providers here in San Diego County. We're unique in the sense that we're one of the only ones that actually will contract other arts education providers as well. So, reaching out, getting involved, whether you want to be in a board, volunteer, or donate, those are all good things to do.
So a lot of ways for people to be involved. As an artist, you can be involved. As a donor, you can be involved. And just talking about the work that's taking place for our kids that's art related.
Yeah, we're always hiring. We actually hold quarterly artist information sessions. The next one will be next Tuesday at 5:30 in our offices in City Heights.
Now, what are you hiring for? What are you looking for?
We're always looking for professional dancers, theater teachers, music teachers, visual artists. Right now, we're needing a little bit more dance and a little bit more visual art.
And how do you typically reach out to the art community to let them know what you're doing and to engage them with your students?
We use our social media, of course. We have a monthly newsletter. Anyone can sign up for that. We let them know what's happening there. We always want to know things that are available for our artists because we always also have an in-house artist newsletter. So if anybody would like to promote things to our artists, they can just send it to us, and we're happy to pass that on.
Very nice. Now, if you were to, in just a few seconds, share maybe your favorite story about one of your students who they made it because of the arts program.
Yeah. I think one of the things I would share is that we've been partnering now for about 10, 11 years with the Phipps family. They created a scholarship in memory of their daughter. We hold an annual competition, and the original winner of that is actually on our artist roster and performing as a professional dancer here in San Diego.
Oh, my God. Well, we want to see more of that. But certainly, as you've said, most people, that's not going to happen with them. But at the same time, they're getting the joy of arts. They're succeeding at school. They're staying in school. They're making that happen, and we're glad to know more about it and to have you on our show. And hopefully you'll come back again and share more about what's happening for Arts for Learning San Diego. Tara, thank you for being with us.
Thank you.
Everyone, Jose Cruz from the San Diego Council on Literacy, and you've been listening to Literacy for All, powered by WS Radio, the worldwide leader in Internet talk, and we hope to have you join us again for our future show.
raised $8,000 to build schools for South African children. After realizing how many people go hungry in San Diego, I now volunteer at a food pantry.
I'm spending the next year doing volunteer projects across 3 countries and helping in ways they designate to be the most helpful.
The World Link program at the Joan B. Kroc Institute for Peace and Justice recognizes the potential of youth as agents of social change. Learn how you can help youth become a generation of leaders in action at peace.sandiego.edu.
In the military, things can change in an instant. Your personal life is just the same. Just like you protect our country, you want your family protected. That's why thousands of military members trust Navy Mutual Life Insurance. Navy Mutual is nonprofit, providing current and former Navy, Marine, and Coast Guard families with life insurance, no sales fees, and no military service restrictions. Protecting members on active duty and beyond. Call 1-800-628-6011, 800-628-6011, NavyMutual.org, insuring those who serve.
Nowadays, internet devices are an integral part of your home. Everyone in your family has a smartphone, tablet, or a computer. Life is easier knowing that all your devices are secured and your family can surf the internet carefree. ESET Multi-Device Security Pack does just that. One license for all your devices. With ESET, it's simple to stay protected and save money. Enjoy safer technology with ESET Multi-Device Security Pack at ESET.com. That's ESET.com.
I've heard this is like one of the best pizza spots in town.
Yes, it is.
I'll do a slice of pepperoni, slice of vegetarian.
You got it.
And I will pay for all of that in 3 days.
In 3 days?
What's that mean? Well, wait, you accept credit cards. That money's not going to hit your account for 3 days anyway.
I need my money quicker.
At Chase, we hear you. With Express Funding, card payments are in your Chase account the next business day. Go to chase.com/expressfunding. Chase for business, so you can.
Compensated participation. All businesses are subject to credit approval. Not all clients are eligible for next business day funding, and additional terms, conditions, and restrictions apply.
Tired of presentations with no impact, no inspiration, and no traction? Do dull speakers have you and your team disengaged and distracted by smartphones? Christopher McAuliffe brings energy, insights, and 2 decades of experience, delivered with punch, humor, and heart. Your team will leave energized, uplifted, and with a sense of purpose. Visit ChristopherMcAuliffe.com to bring some heat to your next speaking engagement. McAuliffe. ChristopherMcAuliffe.com.
Are you serious about your music? Are you ready to run with the big dogs? The experts at Pitbull Audio have the gear to get you into the game. From leading manufacturers like Mesa Boogie, Fender, Pioneer, and American Audio. To sound your best, you need the best. Pitbull Audio can deliver in rehearsal, on stage, and into the big time. Dropping beats, shredding guitar, or making the crowd roar. Whatever you dream, Pitbull Audio can help make it happen. We are Pitbull Audio. We want you to play it loud. PitbullAudio.com.